I'm Regine Rousseau, and I know that most of you have read my bio. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I'll tell you a little bit about what I do and how, come on in, it's all good, it's all good. And how I got to where I am. But I'll start by saying this. Well, first of all, thank you for having me here. It's been a long, long time, and I cannot wait to go back. I have a really bad memory, right? I can't remember anything. So I'm trying to figure out, I'm like, where am I right now? And what happened in this building? So I'm excited to be here, and I'm excited to have been asked to be here. Primarily because I didn't think I had anything, I mean, of course I had something to say, but I didn't think I had something that you all needed to hear. I was like, me? Like, I'm just living my life. And in the last, I don't know, 10 hours, I've talked about 15 to 20 of you, and I realized that you have very specific questions about what happens next. So I walked in with a prepared speech, and I had my niece there listen to it like 2 or 3 times. And then after talking to you, I realized that maybe this is not what I'm going to talk about today, okay? So I'm going to leave a lot of time for questions and answers. I have some things I specifically want to share based on what the questions that you've asked me so far, but this can be interactive, okay? Don't feel like, if you have something that you have to say, just say it, right? I'll be okay, okay? So who am I? I am today the owner of Shall We Wine. Everyone's got really excited right now. So we are a wine and spirits marketing and event planning company. And what does that mean? So we do a couple of different things. So we have clients, our distributors and importers. We execute marketing programs for them. I started off in, well, I'll tell you about the business history, but this part of the business I started in 2013, and I had just me as a consultant. Now I have over 100 consultants working for me, okay? So we go out into stores, into festivals, and we present wines and spirits to consumers. Okay. Second thing that we do is we have corporate clients. So our corporate clients will call us and ask us to put together a wine tasting, a wine dinner for them. I got the most interesting call the other day where a young man, well, he's 50, he just made partner. And he has no idea what it means to navigate that world and what it means to have dinner with his clients and entertain his clients. So he's called me to help him, to teach him how to do that, okay? I have a lot of fun in my job. Your eyes are like, yes, okay. Then we do consumer events. So this is, I have a huge goal for this business. And part of it will be to do pop-up events for consumers. I'd like to eventually have my own wine brand. So a lot of the work that I'm doing now is attracting consumers to my business so that when I launch a product, I already have an audience base, okay? And then the other thing that I do is I blog. I do some video blogging and some writing. Okay, so, bless you. So that is the company today. Now, how did I get there from being a theater major? Yes. Now, I'm going to disagree. I think that theater actually prepared me to be an entrepreneur, okay? It really did. When I was at Knox, my interest was more of writing and directing. And one of my fondest memories of Knox was that I put on a play called For Colored Girls. It was a long time ago, people. So what I did was I spoke to Ivan Davidson, who, you guys, anybody work with Ivan? He was my advisor in my heart. So Ivan Davidson, I said I want to do a black play at Knox College, and there are no black people in the theater department, but I'm going to find some black people, and we're going to put on a play. So that's what I did. I found some black people, and we put on a play. And I learned how to fundraise, okay? So when you put on a production, what do you need? You need costumes, you need, you need flyers, you need all of the stuff that you need, and you need money. So I said, well, how am I going to get money to put on this production? Well, I had to go from department to department, asking them to support my play, okay? And that was the first time I really learned, well, how to become an entrepreneur. As much as I enjoyed the production of the play, what I realized I liked was, I liked the business aspect of it more than anything else, okay? So for me, working in the theater was a preparation for having a business, okay? So when I left Knox College, I wanted to be a playwright. I wanted to direct plays, okay? The first thing I heard when I told people this is, how are you gonna make any money, right? How many of you have heard this? Okay, how are you gonna make any money? So I thought, well, man, that's true. How am I gonna make any money, right? Everyone told me that people in the theater don't make any money. So the first thing that I want to tell you is that they don't know what they're talking about, all right? Let me tell you why. There are so many theaters out there. So you're telling me that no one that has a theater is making any money? When someone tells you you can't do something, what they're saying to you is, I'm afraid that I can't do this. And they're asking you to feed into their fear. So when you graduate, you're going to hear this a lot. When you have a dream that is so big that most people don't understand it, what they're going to tell you is that it's impossible. So I used to own a lot of property. I decided I wanted to buy property in Chicago, and I remember having a conversation with someone and saying, you know what, I want to buy a condo and I want to rent it out and I want to see what it's like to be a landlord. And the guy said to me, well, you can't do that. You don't have any money. Well, I didn't have any money, he was right. He was right, okay. But I looked at him and I gave him this face like, I'm challenging you to come up with your own face, right? Because you're gonna need that when you leave. So seriously, come up with a face that makes people think, I just said the stupidest thing I've ever said in my life. Because they have. No one knows what you're capable of doing except for you. So when someone says you cannot do something, they're not talking about your gifts. It's a reflection of their own fear. So if you're not comfortable with this face, I'm very comfortable with it, but sometimes it's inappropriate, what you have to do is find an answer. So I've been in situations, because I'm constantly doing things that people told me that I can't do. And we'll talk about that. But I say to them, thank you for your opinion, but your fear is not my reality. Okay? Write that down, because you're going to use it. Thank you for your opinion, but your fear is not my reality. Because I am a black woman. My parents aren't rich. I didn't come from, my father's an entrepreneur, but he wasn't a successful entrepreneur. So there was nothing in my history that would have told someone that I could have my own business and I could make money in the wine business. How many black women are there in the wine business? Okay? So remember, your fear is not my reality. Okay? The other thing that I learned from being at Knox, and I've been talking to a lot of you, and you've asked me, well, what if I can't do this, or I don't know if I'm quite ready for this, or maybe I'll get a job first, and then I'll learn from the job, and then I'll start my own business. That's fine. That's your path. But I promise you this, okay? I know this because I had the same education that you had. Everything that you need to achieve your dreams, you have in you right now. The only thing that's stopping you is your belief system. So I promise you, you want to make movies. Everything that you have, that you need, is in you. What you've learned here, a lot of us think that this is not the real world. It is so real, trust me. Okay, people will tell you that you know, you're at Knox, it's not the real world. What you're experiencing here, you won't experience outside of here. That's not true. It's the real world, okay? Everything that you've done here is transferable. That's powerful. What that means is, don't just go out and get a job, but get a job that makes sense, that is based on who you are. Create a life that is based on what you want. And they're telling you that we've already prepared you for that. And they have. Don't think that what you've done today isn't more than someone else who's been working in corporate America for 5 years. You have experiences that people who didn't go to college, they don't have. And it's part of the conversation that I want to have with you today, is helping you to realize that. You know, someone who didn't go to Knox may not have had access to I'm guessing, the cameras that you had, the professors that you had, the ability to, I'm not sure if you already worked on a short film. There are a lot of people who you're going to compete with who haven't had that opportunity, but you have. And that means something. Just because you had it in Galesburg doesn't mean that it's less valuable. It's more valuable because you had it. Okay? You guys with me? Am I preaching to the choir? All right. I'm going to start saying hallelujah real soon. One of the questions that I received earlier was, you guys wanted to know what I did before I started Shall We Wine. I'm your parents' worst nightmare. I did a lot. I had a lot of jobs because as confident as I am today, I don't think I wasn't always this confident. Okay, so I don't expect you to walk out and just, you know, have this confidence. And I had a lot of failure to get me to this point. Okay, so when I graduated college, I thought I want to be a theater major. I want to make plays and write plays, and direct plays. And I had that voice in my head that said, you can't do this, you need to make money, your parents aren't rich, you need to go get a job. And so I started asking people, well, what can I do? And of course, no one said you can write a play. They said you should be in sales. You know, you're good in front of people, you can talk, go to sales. So I got a sales job. I worked as a director of, I don't even know if this company still exists, Jenny Craig. It was a diet center. Okay, so I know, right? I got an exciting job, people. So I did that. I was a program director for them. Then I did well, and I moved up, and I managed one of their centers in Chicago, one of the largest centers, and then I managed one in Michigan for them. I hated that job. Okay, why? Because that's not who I am. I'm an entrepreneur. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to leave the job and I'm going to start a business. And I did. I started a greeting card business. So my friend and I, it was called Lajnaï, which means a little something extra. So we decided that we're going to go to different corporations and we're going to send out all of their Christmas holiday cards for them, right? It was fine. We made a little money, but I didn't have a business plan. And I didn't realize that, wait a minute, Christmas is only one time a year. You can't live on that. So I was like, oh yeah, okay. But I had the experience. So I went back to work. What did I do after that? I waited tables, and I met a woman while I was waiting tables who came in, and she did a presentation on wine for us. And I was sitting there, and I had like those goosebumps, right? Some of you are entrepreneurs in the room because we talk, and I was like, oh, this is it. This is what I want to do. I want to have a business. This was in 90, don't tell me what year you were born. A few of you have been telling me what year you were born. So this was in 96, and I said, this would be a fantastic business. I'd go into people's homes, and I would teach them about wine. I didn't know anything about wine at the time. So I approached the woman and I said, you know what, I have a business idea that I've been working on. I lied. And I said, I want to do wine tastings in people's homes. And she said, great. I said, well, would you be my first guest? And she said, wonderful. So I was recently married. We had no furniture. So I rented all of these tables and tablecloths and turned my house into a restaurant. I invited friends over, they paid $25. The woman came, she did a presentation, and I thought, I have found my calling, which makes no sense, right? But that's what happened to me. I didn't know how I was going to make this into a business, and I'm talking to Jill is her name, and Jill says, well, I think, you know what, I think you should go into sales. You should sell wine. I should? Absolutely you should. So you got that voice saying, be an entrepreneur, right? Go figure out this business. And then Jill's offering me decent money. So I said, well, you know, I'll put the business aside, and I got a job, I sold wine. Well, when I was selling wine, I realized that I don't really like business to business. All I really like to do is I like to teach people about wine. And so I started Shall We Wine back in 1998. And I went to different restaurants, and I put together wine tastings for consumers because that made me happy. I still kept my full-time job, but I broke even. If a business isn't making any money, it's a hobby, it's not a business, okay? Please make some money, people. So it didn't work. What I should have done was I should have worked it harder, I should have figured out how to make it work, but I didn't. I got another job. I went into pharmaceutical sales. Now, let me tell you what I learned in pharmaceutical sales. I like making a lot of money, okay? That was a fun job because I made a lot of money. I had an expense account, and I lied to myself for about 3 good years. I was like, I could do this. I went into the management training program. I suppressed all of that entrepreneurial spirit. I was like, I can conform. I can do this. And then one day, I woke up and I was like, I'm a liar. I cannot do this anymore. So I started another business. I opened a nail salon. And I was like, this is a good business plan. I got a good business partner. I put all the money I had, and I had money back then. I put all the money I had, and I started a salon. And I loved it. I learned a lot about managing people. I learned about talking to the press. We had great press. You know, we were like the hot salon to go to. I didn't even know salons could be hot, but it was. The thing about my salon is there was a bar in it, right? There's a clue. There's a bar in the salon. And my favorite part was standing behind the bar and talking to people, and every once in a while I'd make them a cocktail. We didn't have a liquor license. I was operating under the radar. Cut that out. So, but that's what I liked. And then, you know, I was reading about wine at the time, and I was like, man, this is fantastic. You know what? I'm going to quit my job, and I'm going to manage a salon full time. And that's what I did. Then the economy fell, and nobody wanted to get their nails done. Okay, what did I do? I got a job. Okay, I got a job. I started working for a litigation consulting firm, right back into sales, because sales was my safety net. Went into sales, I made great money, and I lied to myself for another 2 years. I still had the salon. I hired someone else to manage it, but I missed being there. And I spent 2 more years just lying about, like, I could conform. Fast forward to 4 years at the litigation consulting firm, and something for me broke. And that is the moment that you all should be looking for. When something says to you, this is not who I am, I need to go and pursue my dreams, okay? And for me, it took a long, long time, right? So in 2013, I knew that my company was going down. I knew it, and I cleaned out my office. And I was just kind of waiting for my severance check. I'm gonna be real with you guys. That's what happened. I was waiting for my severance check because I knew that that was my emancipation papers, right? They're gonna give me this check, and I'm gonna start another business. And I was just sitting there waiting. The day happened, and I was like, hallelujah. I was like, this is it. I'm going to do this. I'm going to start a business. I had no idea what it was, but I will never go back into corporate America again. I just decided. Well, I know what I was going to do. I had no idea. And I met a guy, and I kept thinking about Shall We Wine. I was like, I know that I love wine. I know there's something I should do, but how do I make this business successful? And I met someone who has a business similar to mine, and I sat down and locked myself in my apartment for weeks, and I created a business plan. And I made a list of everybody I knew who could help me. Everybody I knew from the wine business when I used to sell wine. Everyone I am in contact with now, and I said, who can help me build this business? Because I know I can do it, and I know I can do it differently. And that's what I did. I started off with just me, and I started to pitch clients, and I said, you know what? Give me all of your in-store tastings. I have a team of people. We can do it. I didn't have a team of people, but I knew I could find some people, right? I would say to corporations, I would talk to attorneys that I worked with. Let me plan your next corporate event, and here's how it's going to be different, because I know I can do this. And eventually, people started saying yes. Eventually, companies said to me, you know what? I remember my second meeting with the company that I used to sell wine for back in the 90s. They said, we're going to give you all of our tastings, all of it. And I'm sitting there like, great, awesome. Right? Because I was like, I don't have anybody working for me at this point. But I found some people. So the point is, be brave. The point is, you don't have to do this the way that everyone is telling you. Fearful people are telling you to do it. You can do it your way. You can take a chance, and instead of, you can create your own job, okay? You can create your own job, and you can create your own destiny. I have some more stuff to say, but before I get to that, any questions?
What was the time that you were like most unsure about your future? Like between all of those?
When I was at corporate. Because even though I had the salary, I never expected to be there long. I never knew, I knew that the moment would come when I knew I was lying, right? So that made me feel uncertain. So even now, as having my own business, I have to, I have to manage payroll. I have to, the business is a strange business on how I get paid. So you always have to manage your cash flow. But when you do it on your own, for me anyway, I never feel insecure. Because if I had to tomorrow, I'd go work at Starbucks, right? I don't want to. But if I had to protect my business, I know now that I would do whatever I needed to do. So that, for me, makes me feel extremely secure. Come on, you people have been asking me a million questions. Yes?
So when you first started your first business, where did you come up with your initial investment capital?
So the Lodge Naive, I use my own money.
Okay.
I use my own money. Don't ever do that if you can. Use somebody else's money, trust me, for real. So here's the thing about a loan. Just like the panel said a few minutes ago, if you're going to get a loan, you need to know how you're going to pay it off. Okay, so when we opened the salon, we took a very small business loan. And it's really interesting, the business loan process. Like, we went through a lot to get that loan, and it was a little money. And I was like, we have money. Like, why is it so hard to get? It was $75,000 when you have two people who actually have money. But it was hard. So yes, get a loan. You shouldn't use your own capital if you don't have to. But you need to figure out how you're going to pay it and how you're going to pay it quickly, like any loan that you get.
So we're kind of like 21-ish
Yes.
years old right now.
Yep.
And I am interested in starting my own business or creating my own job in some way at some point. And like I'm thinking about that, and I've been thinking about that for a few years, but kind of what is the timeline? Like, I'm not going to I don't have any money really, so I'm not going to just like leave in June and like start my own job or start my own business. And so like kind of what is a timeline?
Why not? I'm just asking, why not?
Yeah.
You might have a really great answer, I don't know, why not?
Well, I just feel like I don't know where I want to live, and I don't know. I don't have confidence in my business skills because I'm not literate in business, but I have confidence in my passion, but not. I'm still developing hard skills, I guess.
Okay. I was a theater major. Okay. I could put on a play. I can do that right now. So the point that I'm making, or I'm trying to make, is that you've learned what you need. There was a, I can't even remember what it's called, a center at UIC that I found online, and I went and they helped me put all the financials together, my partner and I, for the salon, and helped us put a business plan together. I did not know how to write a business plan when I started my company. I am okay admitting that. But did that keep me from starting the company? No. I found someone who knew how to do that. Okay, so that's the first thing. You have to have a business plan. Second thing you have to do is you have to look at the financials. Okay? For me personally, I wanted to, when I started Shall We Wine Again, two things were important to me. I needed the business to, I needed a low risk. So by low risk, I mean I didn't want to invest a lot of my own money in the business. And two, I needed something to make money right away. Okay? So one thing that we did when we owned the salon is when we were building the salon out, we started something, the name of the salon was Polish and Nail Lounge. And we started something called Polish and Go, because it was so expensive to build the business, to do the build out. What I did was we bought these little self-contained manicure stations. We hired manicurists, and I went to all of the hotels, and we started to service the hotels that didn't have spas. So the business made money right away. So when you're writing your business plan, if there's something you can do to make sure that your business is generating some sort of income, even if it's $100, you get excited. You're like, oh, I made $100 today. That's exciting for, for an entrepreneur. Number three, you need to start to surround yourself with people who understand what you're doing. So get a mentor or get many mentors. So if accounting is not your thing, find an accountant and ask him or her to mentor you so that you know what you're doing, okay? But surround yourself with people who can support your business, okay? Those are the three things I would say that you need to start with. Go ahead.
It's so funny you said that. And what do you do when you get a mentor and they help build you up and then it gets kind of disappear?
Get another one. And maybe they've given you all they have. That's okay. Yeah, just get another one. You've outgrown them anyway. And get many mentors. I have a lot of mentors. I have people that I reach out to for very different things. I have mentors in the wine business so that if there's a concept that I don't understand, I have a master somm that I can call. I have, mentors who are, business professionals. I have mentors in the corporate world who I can say, well, how do I navigate if I want to approach this corporation? So yeah, just get another one. You ain't got time for them anyway. Okay? But to answer, okay, yep. Mhm.
What if they ask for a salary? Or what if they ask for a financial?
Just act dumb, right? Just act like your mentor will not ask you for money. They will not. If they ask you for money, they're not a mentor, they're a consultant. And you just say, thank you so much. At this time, I'm not able to afford you, but when I get there, I'd be happy to consider a relationship. But your mentor should not ask you for any money.
How would you say you can build relationships with mentors and meet the right people to do that?
Yep, okay. The most important thing is to know what you want, okay? Know what it is that you're seeking from the person. So if you call me and you say, Regine, I'd like to open a business, I'd like you to give me some advice. No problem. We can talk all day. Not all day, I'm kidding. 10 minutes, no. But if you say, Regine, I want you to mentor me, then I'm going to start asking you questions about where's your business plan? What are you doing about it? I'm trying to assess how serious you are so that I know how much time to invest in you. And that is just the honest truth. So if you're asking for advice, great. A lot of people will give you advice, but if you're asking for mentorship, please come in with a solid idea, plan, and some passion, right? Don't be like, oh, I don't know, I don't want to work, and I'm living in my mom's basement, and I really want a job, so I'm just going to go ahead and talk to you. Come on. Really, give me something to get excited, because I want to get behind you. So tell them exactly what it is that you want, and a good mentor will help you, will help you succeed and get a lot of mentors. So going back to answering your question, you asked about being African American and how it's a woman and impacted me in the business. I don't know. I hate to say it, I have no idea. I'm sure it has, but I'm really stubborn, so I'm just kind of like moving forward. I do get the look when I walk into a room and people don't expect me to be black. They're like, oh, what? Like, that shocked face on it. So I have that, but I don't know. I don't know, because I just do what I do. And I'm sure I'm gonna figure it out at one point. I just don't know the answer to that today. Okay, questions, comments? Okay, so I don't know, how much time do I have? You gotta give me because I can talk all day. Are we good? Are we good on time? 5 minutes?
Still want to talk?
Oh, I have 3 things to close with.
Sounds good.
Okay, all right, okay. One of the things I want to do even for those of you who don't want to be entrepreneurs, for those of you who decide, I do want a job, I do want to work for corporate America, a lot of the things that I've talked about are going to be relevant to you. One of the things, so I have a couple of things that I want to challenge you to do. The first thing I want you to do is to make a list of everything that you want to do and start to do it. That's how I've lived my life. I wanted to write a book, I wrote a book, okay? I wanted to open a business, I opened many businesses. I wanted to travel, I travel. Whatever it is that you want to do, make a list and start to do it. And whenever someone says you can't, what are you going to say to them, Anastasia? Amen. That's my niece. Okay. So thank you for your opinion, but your fear is not my reality. The second thing I want you to do is to make a list of everything you want to be and become it. Okay? Whatever that means to you. You don't have to share it with anyone, but whoever you want to be, become that person. You want to be generous, be generous. You want to be kind, be kind. You want to be fearless, become fearless. Okay? And the last thing that I really want you to take away from this is whatever your path is, whatever the career is for you, I want you to choose it based on the first 2 things. Who you want to be, okay? And what's the second thing I said? I forgot. Who you want to be and what you want to do. Okay? Do not choose your career simply on the things that you want to accumulate. You will be in the office, depressed, not being able to breathe. I've been there. You have everything that you need to be successful. You have everything that you need to become the people, the person that you want to be. So I hope that you've listened to me and that you will go out there and become the person that you want to become, not the person that everybody else wants you to become. That's all I have.